everybody. It is me, Demetri K, and I thank you so much for being here on this lovely, cold, I guess you can call it, Sunday afternoon. We are going to get started as soon as we see some people come on here. I want to say thank you to those on the Demetri K podcast. We are now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and what's the other one? Radio Spreaker, right? Spreaker.
And YouTube.
So I want to thank you to YouTube as well. And of course, as always, to the Facebook audience who was the original audience of this show, tried and true. So I want to thank you guys. Also want to thank Donovan for putting all this together. It's an arduous task. I can never do it. So I am very grateful that he does it. Hey, Sydney, I haven't seen you on here in a while. I know that you're very busy and everything, so how you doing? Even if you don't stick around, I wanted to say hi to you. And so, yeah, we're going to wait for a few more people to come on because I want to get started with the topic at hand. I hope you guys can see it. It says, why be a Marc Lamont Hill when you can be a Deontay Wilder? And so I'll explain that a little bit more because I know some people are probably like, oh, my God, what is that about? So I'll do my best to merge the two together and do it more like a compare and contrast. And Sydney says, what's up, fam? You mean cold? It's 60. Is it 60 here in New Jersey? What's up, Donovan? Oh, you said it is 60. What's about that here in California? Which is cold for us. We're usually
anything below 70 is cold.
Yeah, anything below 70 is cold for us. We're normally bundled up. And you say you're working nights, but you're off. Yay! I used to work nights and it's the pit. So, well, not like all the time. I had to every once in a while, and I just didn't love it at all. So my hat's off to anybody who can work nights. Hey, Terrence, what's happening? I'm glad you enjoyed the link that I shared from NPR. Me and Terrence are both avid NPR lovers.
I love NPR.
Where anybody who's listening to NPR, you know, they have a whole host of topics and interviews, just you name it, different genres of music, it's just a well-rounded, well-balanced radio station to listen to. And so, hey, Capri, how are you today? And so I will go ahead and get started. I don't want to belabor the point for those of you guys who are already on here. And so, as I said, welcome to the Demetri K Show. The purpose of the Demetri K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of the things that go on in the Black community to make us a better people. And I also want to say, for those of you guys on Facebook who I'm not friends with for whatever reason, I thought I was public, but since it seems like you guys are having a hard time commenting, when you see the link come up on here, go ahead and hit the link so that you are able to comment in regards to what we are discussing here today. And so, as I said, I also want to thank Donovan. Thank you very much and all that other stuff. Whatever. I'm just playing.
Black woman.
Right. And then Terrence, you said, for sure, sister. Absolutely. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, as I said, the topic of the show is why be a Marc Lamont Hill when you can be a Deontay Wilder? And I'll go ahead and explain both of those to you. So, for those of you who do not know who Mr. Wilder is, he is a WBC or a World Boxing Council heavyweight boxer who has held the championship title since 2015. Just last night, he fought Tyson Fury that ended in a split decision or draw, and I guess in boxing terms, that allowed Wilder to keep his title. Now, we're not to get into the dynamics of the fight because, as usual, some people are having an issue with whether he won or not, but it ended in a split decision, so what can you do, right? Okay. But I don't want to discuss the fight. I want to discuss what happened before the fight. Now, as most of you have probably already seen by now, Wilder went off on a reporter by the name of Radio Raheem for asking him to clarify a comment that he made to Tyson Fury during a fight promo. He shouted in Tyson's face, the other boxer, "My people have been fighting for 400 years." Okay? Now, Radio Raheem asked Wilder what he meant by the statement, and all hell broke loose. Wilder most adamantly exclaimed the following: "Your people too. You know what I'm talking about." I'm trying to do it in my best, Wilder voice, but Mr. I think I'm failing.
It's Mr. T voice.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. I was like, woo. Okay, so he says, your people too. You know what I'm talking about, Radio Raheem. I don't have to explain what's already understood. Google that shit and see what I'm talking about, okay? Now, so for a lack of better words, Wilder told Raheem to stop cooning because he is also black and started the question with, what do you mean, your people? So when Radio Raheem approached him, he says, what do you mean by your people? And that's when all hell broke loose, okay? Now, honestly, it's so refreshing to see and hear a celebrity black man not being afraid to tell the truth about white supremacy and what it is. And, just basically tell it off like, I don't care. I'm going to be me, right? It's also refreshing to see and hear a black man with a celebrity platform use it to be unapologetically black. As I was reading a lot of the comments from black women within some of the posted videos, many of those women exclaimed how much of a turn on it was to see and hear black men speak in such a manner regarding black people.
They love getting us killed.
No, we weren't trying to. We don't love getting you killed. But a lot of black people, women was like, well, damn.
No, I had a girlfriend. When I would get aggressive, she'd love that. Wow, she'd love it.
We had this conversation on Tuesday. And for those of you guys don't know, this is Donovan. He doesn't want to be on camera just yet. You will see him on the video that is produced on YouTube. But yeah, we as black women, we love when black men step up to the plate. And now I want to also tie that into a subject that somebody sent to me right before we got on here, in that they want to know, why is it that black women are having to step up in the leadership role more and more, opposed to black men doing it? So I want you guys to think about that as I continue. But yes, we as black women love when y'all take the lead. You know what I mean? So a lot of black women were like, yo, wow.
I'm a little moist.
Well, some did say that. Some did say that. I just didn't want to say it, but I'm glad you said it. Okay, so let's get back to it, right? Yeah. All right, so I would have to agree it is a turn on. I mean, it is what it is. Now, on the other hand, we have Marc Lamont Hill, who was a political commentator on CNN until he got fired for making anti-Semitic comments in regards to Palestine and Israel. Now, during the speech he was giving for the UN's International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people, he said, we have an opportunity not to just offer solidarity in words, but to commit to political action, grassroots action, local action, and international action that will give us what justice requires, and that is a free Palestine from river to the sea. All right. So he was also asking for countries to boycott and divest from Israel until they do right by Palestine. Now, this is highly problematic for Jews because one of the last times a boycott was called for, Hamas was created, and that's a militant Palestinian group, okay, that shot missiles and stuff into Israel. And you guys who are familiar with the story know the whole story. Now, he was asking, said that. So the Anti-Defamation League took issue with the from the river to the sea portion of his speech, saying that kind of language causes divisiveness and hate against Israel. In other words, it causes hate and divisiveness against Jews. Now, this is the Anti-Defamation League.
Of course they're going to say that. They're backed by the Jews, but go ahead.
Right. Okay, so of course, Hill denied that he was trying to be anti-Semitic and offered the following on Twitter. My reference to the river from the river to the sea was not a call to destroy anything or anyone. It was a call for justice. But in Israel and in the West Bank / Gaza, the speech was very clearly and specifically said those things. This is what he says. It's kind of jacked up, but he basically was trying to plead his case. Like, yo, I didn't mean anything by that. I would just, guess going to bat for the Palestinian people, whatever. Okay. Now, he also said, I support Palestinian freedom. I support Palestinian self-determination. Hill tweeted, adding, I do not support anti-Semitism, killing Jewish people, or any of the other things that attributed to my speech. I have spent my whole life fighting these things. Now, some of the offended have actually accused Hill of going full on Farrakhan. Okay. Now, funny how things work. Hill apologized by saying, okay, so they accused him of being full on Farrakhan, which is ironic because Hill was actually forced to denounce Farrakhan for being anti-Semitic not too long ago.
When has Farrakhan been anti-Semitic?
Well,
But go ahead.
The Anti-Defamation League and, various people have always accused Farrakhan of being anti-Semitic, but sounds like Farrakhan and Mark Hill were saying the same thing. But Mark Hill, due to pressure from the Jewish community, denounced Farrakhan. In fact, Farrakhan had put up a picture of him and Hill together in promotion of Farrakhan's album release. And so I guess the white supremacist Fox News and that crowd said, oh, well, look at here. Here's Mark Hill with Farrakhan. Oh, he's an anti-Semite and all this other stuff. And so Mark Hill came out and says, I disagree with that. That's not who I am. I just took the picture. Please stop using all that nonsense. And so here he is in the same situation that Farrakhan is in. Not that Farrakhan cares, but so as I said, funny how things work. Hill apologized by saying, I'm sorry that my word choices cause harm, and as a communicator, I must take responsibility for the reception of my message. If Mark was speaking the truth, why is he sorry? You know what I mean? So no matter what position you have, how much money you're making, or who you're earning it from, never be afraid to be black and honest. Basically, be a Deontay and not a Mark. So I want to know you guys' thoughts on it. And again, you guys, for those of you guys who are not friends with me for whatever, you can't comment, please. If you see a link come up, please hit that link so you are able to comment, because I want to address each and everybody's comments. So I will get back to you guys' comments here. My voice. All right. And so Sydney says, let me guess, Donovan Sadiq said he lost. No, you didn't say Deontay lost.
No, not at all.
No, he didn't say he lost. He was like, who the hell is that?
Yeah. And I'm actually saying that, too, because...
Yeah, he's like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't follow boxing anymore because there's too many titles.
Right, so
I don't follow.
Right, and admittedly, I didn't know who this Deontay cat was until I saw the video. I was like, ooh, okay. Stevie says, yo, I love that promo. Yeah, I think a lot of people did. Because, Deontay Wilder... he is very unapologetic about who he is and speaking his truth in regards to black people. And so, of course, he took issue with the black dude saying, well, what do you mean your people? He was like, what you mean my people? It's your people too, And then so he said, also, Steve, he kept it way real. Yes, he did. And so Sydney said, what did Hill do? I hope I will explain that. And Tay says, hey.
Hey, Shantae.
And Terrence says, can't you be pro-Palestinian and pro-Israel at the same time?
Absolutely. I mean, you have black friends, you have white friends, don't you? You have Mexican friends,
Right. I mean, because I guess, the dynamics of Palestine and Israel are so skewed. What is it? The Jewish and Muslims,
all or nothing. That's bull.
Yeah, like you said, it's all or nothing. And something I was reading this morning says that just because you're a Palestinian doesn't mean that you're necessarily a Muslim. Mm-hmm. You could be a Christian or non-denominational, whatever. But like you said, people have this all or nothing thing. But to Terrence's point, why can't you support both? But I guess because the powers that be, they didn't like Marc Lamont Hill saying what he said, because for those of you guys who do know the history about Palestine and Israel, the Jews are saying that type of language is divisive and is harmful, because the last time they called for, one of the last times they called, or the first time I guess you could say, the Palestinians called for a boycott, a war broke out. And so they're saying that's kind of along the lines of starting harmful rhetoric.
Well, what I think it is, and this is my experience with a lot of people that are so-called Jewish. Because remember, the real Jews aren't here. These people who call themselves Jewish, they like to talk about everybody else, but don't want anybody to talk about them.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, but so it's like, to me, Marc Lamont Hill. I guess we can call him Mark because that's kind of a long name. But you're going against Farrakhan. But yet they turn around and do the same thing to you. So it's like, was it all in vain? Should you have just really stood your ground and said, while Farrakhan may have his thing, I'm not going to denounce him, because a lot of Marc Lamont Hill's stuff, he was saying how he doesn't agree with people getting, censored, whether it's Farrakhan, Alex Jones, and those type of people. But it's like, you turn around and denounce Farrakhan for saying essentially... Now, maybe Farrakhan says it with a little bit more heat, but he said the same thing you said. And so now you're sitting here unemployed, trying to apologize to people who will never accept your apology. I mean, the Jewish people who are against him are very clear in that they not only do they want this man to lose his job on CNN, they're also gunning for his job at Temple University because he is a professor there. And they want him to be fired from there too. So it's like, yo. Well, to one point, it's like, well, you guys are kind of proving his point in that, yeah, we probably do need to side with Palestine a little bit more, but it's also a real slap in the face to him. Like, golly, I did what you guys asked me to do. I apologize for, being friends with Farrakhan.
And you're still sticking it into me with no Vaseline.
Yeah, you're right. What else do you want from me? You want my job, my livelihood. You've already taken my spotlight, on CNN.
They're also showing us a very good example. This is the problem with black folks. We are so quick to forgive. We need to do what they do. If you cross that line with us, we're done.
Well, I'm so glad you said that because my closing commentary is going to tie all what you just said in. And so let's see. Let's see. And so Terrence, you said that's bullshit. I agree it is. But, what are you going to do? It's like, and I said this on somebody else's post, when you allow your enemies to tell you who your friends are, that's when you have a problem. I mean, he allowed the Jewish community, not all Jewish community, but those who have the power to tell him what to do in regards to another black man. And he did it. And, now you're saying, oh, well, I didn't really mean, I misconstrued my words and this, that, and the other. But it's like, now they're doing it to you. So I agree. And so you said, why don't they ban Trump for CNN for all the racist stuff he says? Well, I mean,
ratings.
Well, you're right. And then Mark is expendable. I mean, he's just another black dude. Look at all the black people they've gotten rid of on CNN. They got rid of Roland Martin and a whole host of other black people who were on the show. So I don't think it's a secret at this point that CNN is anti-black people. I mean, or at least anti-black commentators, if you will, right?
Even Soledad O'Brien, who used to work for CNN.
Yeah, Soledad O'Brien was like a flagship, there to the show. And so they got rid of her along with, at the same time with Roland Martin. And then you says, but he'll speak though. We need him as a college professor educating us. Meanwhile, Wilder has a different platform. Well, I'm not saying, obviously they have a different platform, but I guess what I'm really saying is why apologize for that? If you're speaking the truth, why apologize for it? But at the same time, remember that what you did to another brother, the other brother being Farrakhan, thinking that, you were making friends and these people are going to love me so much more because they made me denounce them. But damn, you said less fiery stuff about, in fact, I don't even know if he mentioned the Jews as much as, talking about Palestine, and they got rid of you. And now they're gunning for your other livelihood. They're not going to be happy till your ass is on the corner, on the street. And so it's like, what good is apologizing? Doing it to Donovan's point, we are always apologizing and asking for forgiveness from people who don't necessarily, like Farrakhan said, have never even asked us to. And we're tap dancing for approval. And you're still expendable. I mean, this is a prime example.
And that's that Christian thing that they've beaten into our heads. Oh, forgive those who trespass against you. No, eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
Well, that's what the ideology we subscribe to, though, And then you say not unemployed. Well, no, they want him unemployed. I mean, they're gunning for his job at Temple University. And so Sydney says, damn, I agree with Donovan. I think about the whole forgiving thing. And then Terrence says, it just lets us know who really runs the media. Yeah, so to your point, Terrence, doesn't Farrakhan always speak to that? Yeah. That the Jews are in control of the
entertainment.
Media, the entertainment. And so, we see what's going on, especially with the Women's March. They're trying to get rid of Tamika Mallory and the other Muslim sister. I can't remember her name right off. They're trying to get rid of them because they won't denounce Farrakhan. Alyssa Milano is like, I'm not going to speak until you guys get rid of her. And so now, I guess the owner and CEO of the Women's Movement March is saying, yo, I need them to step down. Because I guess Alyssa Milano is more important than them not denouncing.
Remember, she's of Italian heritage. So
right. Well, she's
Wasp.
white.
Right.
She's white. And so, and Charles, hey, what's happening? He says, hey, it's Sunday evening and it's Demetra Sunday Live. Woohoo! And then Sydney say, we always censor. Yeah. And then you say, I miss Melissa Harris Perry. She was on MSNBC. Yeah, I mean, Melissa was cool, but you know they got rid of her too. Then they didn't get rid of her right away. They started to, I guess,
phase her out.
Yeah, they phased her out by cutting her show, letting other stuff
Saturdays and Sundays,
yeah,
and then they just
co-opt her show or interrupt her show, and then she basically said, and these are the words she used: "I'm not going to be your mammy."
Right.
You know, you ain't finna be telling me what to do like that.
Another sister that's very powerful. She's a contributor on MSNBC. What's her name? Mrs. Wiley, Maria Wiley. Mm-hmm. The sister. She used to be the assistant AG of the mayor of New York, Bloomberg. Mm-hmm. I mean, beautiful sister, but she's up there. She's a lawyer and she's a kind of contributor. So if you go, her last name is Wiley. I can't remember her first name, but she's really good. She's really good. She's been talking about what's going on with the Trump thing, and
okay.
She's very powerful.
I had to check her out. And Latie, I hope I said that right. Robinson, you says, what do you know about Wilder? Nothing. Nothing other than nothing other than he is the WBC 2000, or he's been the WBC champion, heavyweight champion since 2015, and that he won by a split not won, but it was a split decision last night. Mm-hmm. And I did some research on him. He's married to a black woman, which I was just like, "Ooh, thank you, Jesus."
Most boxers are.
Well, I did, because I was like, okay,
most boxers are married to.
And not that I was looking, but it just said, okay, who he was married to when I Googled him, and I said, ooh, okay, let me click on it and see if it's a sister. Ooh, I was like, yes, it's a sister.
Yeah. If you go through the history of boxing, most of the black boxers are married to black women.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Hey, Samuel says, greetings. You're talking about this. He says, CNN Corrupt News Network. Yeah.
Very nice acronym.
And then Latia says, I need to know what the title of this means. Well, I was basically wanting to say that Marc Lamont Hill, gosh, that's a long name, was very apologetic about telling the truth. And he was also doing, to me, it sounds like a lot of the bidding of the very people who got rid of him, opposed to being a Deontay Wilder, who was more or less like, listen, I'm not, because I firmly believe that Radio Raheem, when he asked him that comment, was wanting him to maybe backtrack a little bit or maybe scat dance. Well, I didn't really mean it like that. What I meant was, and he was like, no, I said what I said. Okay. I said what I said. There is no, what happened was, okay, you might have taken what I said out of context. I know I was a little angry. He's like, I said what I said. Okay. And so that's what I mean. And so let's see. Terrence, you say, I would not apologize if I knew I was going to get fired. I'm cussing everybody out on my way out the door.
Maya Wiley.
Okay, I've never heard of her. And he also said, just like Kathy Griffin, she regretted apologizing for the Trump bloody head deal because they were going to fire her anyway. Yes, and I saw that interview with her. If you guys don't know who that is, Kathy Griffin. Okay, I've seen her before. She took a photo with a bloody head of a decapitated Trump. The head was bloody, and she said it was for satirical purposes, which a lot of people, mainly his supporters, didn't find that funny. And she lost a lot of money and gigs due to that. And she says she apologized, but in retrospect, she says, I wish I didn't apologize. And she says, I'm sticking by what I did.
Yeah, because the results were still the same. If you apologize, you didn't apologize.
Right. And Latia said, no, what does that mean, no? And then Sydney says, if we went by today's standards, we would have canceled him before he became aware. Just saying, they said cancel Mark. And then Charles said the Jews control the media, the finance industry, entertainment, all these DHAL citizenships they control our Congress, President, and Supreme Court. They committed the bombing of the World Trade Center on 9/11. Oh, Lord. Well, I mean, there's been a lot of conspiracy talk concerning that. So, I mean, I don't think it makes anybody anti-Semitic to say that the Jews primarily control the entertainment industry. They just do.
They do.
Why is that hateful? And so, I mean, I don't understand. And then you also say, Latie, he is married to a black lady but engaged to a mixed lady. Huh? So he's married. Wait.
Yeah. You got to think about that. Think that through. Think that what he just said.
So he said he is married to a black lady but engaged to a mixed lady. That's kind of strange. Or maybe he's not. I guess he's not divorced from the black lady yet. But what is the mixed lady mixed with? Because, I mean, if she mixed with black, hell, she black to me. Mm-hmm. And Will Muhammad was having says facts. You on point, says these kinds of brothers need to do like my dad used to say, man, act like you got a pair. I know brothers, real ones, love to prove they ain't no punk. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I mean by no shade to Marc Lamont Hill, because I'm not saying that he's all the way on the left of the cooning. I've seen him speak up in regards to black people, but it's just like, you're allowing these people, like, because when is somebody going to say, well, is what Farrakhan's saying true? Is what he's saying true? And we know a lot of times that Mr. Louis Farrakhan's words are taken out of context. They take that little part of the sound bite and then try to say, oh, well, this is what he said, but they forget the beginning and the end.
You have to get the whole context.
Get the whole context. And so, I mean, when is it going to be okay to just say, I said what I said? And then, hey, Marcus, he says, join in with the link. Hey there. Today's topic is, okay, so he's just putting up the topic. Today's topic is why be Marc Lamont Hill when you can be a Deontay Wilder. All right. And so don't forget to hit the link if you want to comment. And Latia says, Wilder was selling tickets. He does nothing for the people I'm from, where he's from. Okay, so where is that? Do tell, since you seem to be a little bit of an authority on Deontay Wilder. So do tell us a little bit about what you know firsthand.
Now, notice we're saying Deontay Wilder, not Dominic Wilder. So Tay, you keep that son of yours in check there. So something about those Wilders.
Oh, okay. And then Sydney says, so cancel Wilder. Well, why are we canceling Wilder, if you guys don't mind me asking? And then T, I hope I'm saying that right. He says, yes, look it up. Okay, I will look it up. But I mean, do tell what you know about Deontay. I mean, I just saw the brother the other day when brother Ben X actually posted the video, and I was like, whoa, wow, and to me that is refreshing. And like I said, I love the fact. Now I don't know all about this guy. I mean, I guess once you get on the scene, then more people are kind of inquisitive about who you are, and so. But from what I saw of him, I love the fact that he was not scared and backing down because he had all the cameras in his face. He was like, I said what I said, dude. And so somewhere, somehow, he, obviously being a black man, he feels oppressed, and rightfully so. So it sounds like that's something he wanted to highlight. And then let's see. Tay says, see, Donovan, don't make me send my son over there. She says, watch yourself. Okay?
There it is. Something about those Wilders.
Watch yourself. And Samuel says, not apologizing like the white senator from Mississippi who made a reference that of a contributor invited her to a public lynching. She would be on the front row. Yep. I can't remember her name. Cindy Hyde, somebody. In front row in an interview, she says she stood by her statement. She was elected by more than 70,000 votes. And you know what? Not only was she elected by more than 70,000 votes, she was helped elected by, I think it's 17 to 18% black Republican men. And so 17 to 18% of black Republican men did not find a problem with her saying that she would be on the front row of a lynching, or instead of hanging, but damn, what's a lynching? Mm-hmm. It's a lynching. Front row of a hanging if the guy invited her. And so I would just ask, those black men who voted for her, what about that was appealing to you?
Well, I don't think it was appealing to them. What it is, you're always going to have that group, like you always say, that's going to be there for the power. They don't care how they get it. They just want the power and the influence.
But gosh, I mean, she's going to be at the front row of a hanging and you voting for her?
If it takes, if that's going to get me appointed to something, absolutely.
I mean, I'm just saying, these are just regular voters, though.
I know, but that shows you how ignorant they are. They think because I'm going to bow down to mass and do what mass to say, I might get an extra chicken bone in that.
I mean, you
slot.
live in Mississippi, so that hanging could be you. And to me, that also made you think, well, wow, have you been to any hangings lately?
Yeah.
That you would just so freely profess, well, hell, I would go to the front row of a hanging if he invited me. Like you, and she's 58, I think. So
she looks older than that.
And she does. But you're 58, so you're young in today's terms. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you were around in 1918 where they was actually lynching people like after Sunday church. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then Cindy, you say, D, we would have canceled him in today's society standard. He recently became aware. Right. Well, that's True. A beautiful thing. When you True. Become aware, you start to tell everybody about your awareness, and rightfully you should. Now, obviously, that takes a lot of work to become aware. We are always a work in progress when we are waking up. That's why I take exception to the word I'm woke, because if you woke, then take your ass back to sleep. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because we are waking up. We are continuously waking up, learning more.
Well, let me add to that real quick. Mm-hmm. A lot of people keep forgetting during the French Revolution, that was the time called the Awakening, the Enlightenment. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of the same thing that, people just forgot that that's been going on for a very long time.
Right. But golly, it's like, when we going to get there,
Yeah, exactly.
When did the French Revolution take place? In the 1700s?
Yeah, the 1800s, yeah.
Right. And so Al says, will it ever come a day that at least once that black people won't have something going on and other races leave us alone? Well, that day will never come. However, we can minimize the effect that it has on us by stop being so divisive. I would say stop being so divisive, first of all, because every time I go on Facebook, I every day, throughout any time of day, I always see somebody making a divisive post, whether it's black women don't do this, black men don't do that.
What? Look, I thought you're not supposed to talk about me on this show.
Well, yeah,
okay.
Like, we working on you.
Okay,
You a work in progress,
right.
okay, brother? Okay. But I'm just saying in general, it's like we're so divisive. How can we unite when we don't even like each other? And then we don't even like each other out in the public, because it used to be a time when you fighting with your significant other or somebody within your race. You did that behind closed doors, but we just get on Facebook and any other book and openly degrade our black man and our black women.
Our black queens.
Well, I mean, that's what we can. So Al, to your point, we can minimize the effects, but that's not going to happen until we stop being so divisive. And then Cindy says, Dean Donovan, I'm so happy for you too. I am scrolling through my feed and I see this had been shared on a lot of groups. Oh well,
right on.
You know what? Also, we have to thank Marcus for that. Yes. And I'd be remiss to not thank Marcus, because Marcus is very instrumental in making sure that this goes forward to a lot of other people. And so I would say thank you to Marcus. And so I'm glad that you were seeing it in a bunch of groups. And Samuel says, Charles Evers, Medgar Evers' brothers was one of those that supported her, basically saying she waited, taken out, or she was, what she said was taken out of context. Okay, well, let me get this right. The brother of Medgar Evers, a civil rights martyr, I guess, if you will, who was murdered by white supremacy. His brother, Charles Evers, was co-signing what she said.
Well,
I mean, in a loosely roundabout way, wasn't his brother lynched?
Right, but see...
I know he wasn't hung, but, he was murdered in front of his family.
He was shot with a shotgun.
That's still lynching. Yeah.
But you got to remember that's not unusual. People will do whatever they got to do to achieve power and influence. And what was that other civil rights person's brother?
It was Martin Luther King's son.
Yeah.
And I think the daughter, they were,
they were all cooning
for Trump and all that other stuff. Right. Yeah, so that's unfortunate, because I doubt very seriously that Medgar Evers would have been supporting a woman who, let's be honest, we know that Mississippi is,
it is the last state in every category.
Yeah, the last state, but the first in racism.
Yes.
It's up there with your Alabamas and your Georgias and that kind of stuff. And so I doubt very seriously that Medgar Evers would have been, locking elbows with this woman and saying, oh gosh, you guys are just too sensitive.
She's going to be a great representative.
Wow. And then, as somebody else said, Samuel, you said she was unapologetic about saying it. Like, I said it.
Yeah, she was unapologetic.
And they voted for her overwhelmingly. Well, wow.
Matter of fact, she doubled down. She's taking pictures and stuff. She doubled down.
And then they actually showed some pictures that she was taking in some Confederate something.
Yeah, because when the issue came up of her going to a separate segregated school.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, she was going. She attended a segregated high school
and sent her kids to a segregated high school.
Right, and so as we said, she's 58, so it's not like she was around Jim Crow or even. I mean, she's even on the tail end of the civil rights movement.
Our age. Well,
right.
Right. Not that old, but you know what I mean. She's in that circle.
And Charles said, "Did you see Kareem Hunt getting fired by Kansas City Chiefs earlier this week? Caught on tape by TMZ having an altercation
with his girlfriend,
shoving and kicking a woman. Not condoning violence at any time, but let's see. I just think don't want to. Okay, let's see. See more. Okay, by any time. But people, especially young people, do stupid stuff. Ben Roethlisberger raped 2 women we know of, but he is still a hero. Also, I'm glad you brought that up in regards to Kareem Hunt, because I also saw, I can't remember who I saw talking about it, but they said the part that we didn't see on the video that was released by TMZ is the part where he kicked the women out, the white women, for I understand it was white women.
When will you brothers learn?
He kicked the white women out the room, I guess because they wanted to do drugs and alcohol. And so once he kicked them out, before the tape started,
she becomes a victim.
Yeah, in the hallway, they were calling him niggers and stuff. And so then after that point of the video that we saw. And so, again, I'm not condoning violence either, but let's tell the full story if indeed that is the full story.
So what do I always say on my show? Brothers need to stop putting themselves in that position.
I mean, I agree. I mean, hell,
you're talking about millions of dollars in a contract that they just cut him loose over what? A piece of ass.
Well, if the story is true about these women calling him niggers and stuff after he kicked them out of the room due to drugs and alcohol, maybe, I don't know. I'm just going off of what I heard. I'm not saying it's true, but he said they were minors. Okay, so did he? If I understand this right, he found out that they were minors, and then he put them out, right? Is that right? Because I think I did hear that. But so once he found that out, maybe he was like, okay, yeah, this is obviously
brothers
going to jeopardize my future.
When you're a professional athlete or a expensive businessman, you need to really be careful of who comes and checks for you, because there's an agenda that they're out there.
Right. Well, I mean, for those of you guys who have seen Spike Lee's movie, He Got Game, I thought that was an awesome movie. Honestly, I think they should show that movie at every rookie camp. Maybe take the brothers to the side. And
Absolutely. No, and they
we got
actually
a little something special for you. I know Herm Edwards does it.
Yeah, there's a few other guys that go in there and do
but
that.
I'm saying specifically to the brothers.
Pac-Man Jones, he goes through it and does it.
This, like you said, is by design. These women are put there in place. Who's to say? I mean, they're minors. How would you know where this man is? How did you get in
ID,
there?
Right.
Somebody probably sent them over there. Hey, go over to this room. Then, let's set this brother up. And so, if he did find out they were minors and he put them out, and then they got mad and started calling him niggers and stuff, I mean, that might get a foot to your ass. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to be called niggers, especially by no white woman. I mean,
hey,
I don't know.
You can call me whatever you want because it's not going to affect my $360 million contract.
Right, but and again, I'm not condoning violence with this Kareem Hunt guy, but I mean,
it's a shame.
Let's tell the whole story so we can have a full conversation, because when we Sammy says leave Delilah alone.
Exactly.
But I'm saying let's have the whole conversation so we can have an honest conversation, opposed to saying, well, no, because we hear that a lot, especially when it comes to I can't remember the team that it was. It's a bunch of white athletes, female athletes who was on a bus singing a rap song, and they were using the word nigger, nigger, nigger. And I've even seen a lot of black sports pundits excuse it. Yeah, sure. Well, it's a song.
It's a sorority. They're doing their thing.
They didn't. It was innocent. They didn't really know what they meant. But it's like we keep giving them a pass, and so to exclude the fact that these white girls, and because they weren't women, sound like they were minors, to exclude the fact that these white girls were calling him a nigger as a dishonest thing. That's to say, well, we don't care about that, which we know. But I'm just saying, we only care about the fact that he put his hands on these girls, but we don't want to talk about why. Not excusing it, okay?
Yeah, the sad thing is, do you know how many athletes, black athletes, lose their contracts over, guess what? What's the number one reason they lose their contract?
Over the power of the P?
Yeah, well, no, that's not really that. But we're talking about baseball, football, and basketball especially.
Well, do tell.
Marijuana.
Really?
They lose their contract over bullshit. You could smoke the weed after your career is over.
They don't want to.
And there you go. It's just sad. It's just sad.
Well, yeah, I don't know, but I guess worse things can happen. I mean, you could be a Kaepernick and take a knee and just be ostracized forever, right?
Right.
And so Sydney says, I've been there on a rookie camp. We are lost. We fell for the decoy 90%. We fall for the decoy 90% of the time. And that's too bad. I mean, why even have these girls in your room?
Well,
because clearly you didn't know them.
Well, did it in the 90s, the prophet group, Belle Biv DeVoe said never trust a big butt and a smile?
Well, we talking about white girls. I don't know how big the butt is unless...
Well, now, I'm talking about these girls now. They're getting their stuff in hand.
Just... Like you said, Donovan, we got to use wisdom. Why have these girls in your room? Clearly, you didn't know these women or these little girls because they were minors. Why invite them in the first place? I mean, I get it. You're a man. You got money. You got power. Let me just wham, bam. But as Charles said, Kobe Bryant learned not a peep out of him since that rape charge. Right. Yeah, I mean, gosh, and that happened how many years ago? 15?
Yeah, about 15 years
20
ago.
years ago?
His daughters would get ready to go to college. So
that was many moons ago, and yet we still have these brothers falling for the shenanigans.
And just think about this, brothers. What if it's you're in camp or you're on the team and there's only two positions left? How do you know that white guy didn't send those girls over there to get you dropped off the
That's
the
what I would be
roster.
asking. How did you even know I was here? Because it shouldn't be that easy to get up to a football star's, I don't know if he's a star, but football player's room.
Yeah.
And you guys, if you are on here and you want to comment, please hit the link that is throughout the feed so that you can comment. And so, yeah, Kobe Bryant is a great example. He's been on the straight and narrow ever since.
We think.
Well, we ain't heard about him.
Right.
And Al says the incident with Hunt happened on Kansas City Chiefs bye week. He didn't have to be in that situation, opposed to most players take a vacation or rest at home with family or vacation. Well, so, yeah, it sounds like he put himself in a situation. That's too bad because at some point in time, we got to start using wisdom. I mean... And it sounds like they completely got rid of him. I don't know how much money that cost him in the long run, but...
I would definitely be telling my nephew, my son, hey, look, quit with the bullshit. Take care of your business and, go with what you got to go with.
But will they listen, though?
Mine will, because because we have that dynamic. It's sad that a lot of families don't have that dynamic.
Yeah. And then Sydney says, however, he put hands on a woman before, and then in June, he put hands on a man. Okay, wow. It caught up to you. It caught up to you, and this time you put your...
They have a record.
Okay, but wait. Now, this is where my mind goes, you guys. Was the woman he put a hand on before, was she black? Does anybody know what the race of the woman that he put hands on before was? If somebody can answer that for me, then I will go where I was going.
Wait, I can answer that for you. She was black because that's why you didn't hear about it, because it was no big deal.
Well, that's why I was going with it. I mean, was she black? That's all I want to know for her first. Is she black? And then he says, Cindy says, your friends, and secret girl, what's happening? He says, seeing with your cyclop eye,
seeing
your
with
third eye.
Yeah.
Yes, you gotta don't believe with these eyes, but go trust your gut, trust your intuition. I mean, and go with the wisdom of people you've seen go before you in that. What was the dude that beat up his wife in the elevator and it was caught on film?
On the he was on the Baltimore Ravens.
Ray Rice.
Yeah, Ray Rice,
he beat the living.
Lost a major contract, and him and his wife, even though the organization and him have brought him back to do talks and stuff about domestic violence, they ain't offering him no damn contract. That woman cost him the whole thing.
Well, the woman didn't cost him. He did,
yeah,
by not controlling himself. And then, so Sydney says, you meant after he was busted with cheating 300 females, right, Kobe. So, well, yeah, I mean... He probably was getting it around before that, but it take a rape charge by a white woman that you didn't actually rape to get you on the straight and narrow. That before, as I would like to say, to prove to you that fat meat is greasy.
Okay.
Kobe said fat meat is greasy. Now I get it.
It's bad enough Kobe gets a rap for marrying a Mexican chick. So, he gets the rap for that. But
don't be divisive. I'm just playing. And then so Samuel's agreeing with you in the point of that, you being influential over your sons and your nephews.
Yeah.
And then you also say possible setup. That's where my mind would go. Was it a setup?
It has to be.
How would these little girls, because that's what they are. Shut up, B. But these little girls, how would they, know to come in there? And for those of you guys on the podcast, we're going to come out and then we're going to come right back. Again, don't forget to hit the link. Hey, Deanna, she says, hey, mama, how are you? I'm glad to see you on here.
Is that my girl, Deanna? All right.
And then
is she supposed to be studying?
She on top of it. And Al says the Chiefs record is good and they can potentially make their Super Bowl, so he lost playoff money as well. Damn.
Yeah.
See, because I'm in public relations and I teach that. Sometimes you're going to have to make decisions on the fly. Somebody comes and knock at your door. You look at the peepholes, two white girls. What do you want? Is a room service? No. We just want to come in. Not today, Satan. And then in your mind, all that stuff has to be going through your head. Okay, if I let these white girls in my room, I'm potentially going to get caught up in some rape nonsense. I could potentially lose some contract money, some playoff money. Not today, Satan. Get thee behind me and never come before. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to be quick.
Well, D, you told me to stay my ass out the strip clubs. Ever since I've done that, I had all this extra money.
And look how much money piling up. Exactly. Go ahead. And Deanna says, where did that shirt come from? See, I told Al that my daughter was going to want this. It's a long shirt too. It goes all the way down. I'm trying to cover up more. And Marcus says, join the link. So, hey, you guys, please hit the link again. If you are unable to comment, please hit the link because I do want to get to each and everybody's comment.
That'll be all day, all night show.
That's okay. You ain't got nothing else to do. You ain't going to strip club no more. So what else you going to do? And Al says, it proves to me pro-black athletes have awful taste in white women. Lord, so you know what? Hey.
I'm going to have to agree.
I didn't say that. Y'all said.
I'm going to have to agree. Y'all anything goes. Anything
but
goes.
I mean, I don't see any more comments, and so I just continue on. But we just got to use wisdom. I don't have that kind of money yet. But I know that, as I said before, you got to just be able to think really quick. What is this going to cost me? And I teach people this all the time. Whether you're going to get mad or something, you got to ask yourself, what is getting mad going to cost me? Is it going to cost me some money, some time, some energy, a relationship, some reputation? What is it all going to cost me? And so as athletes, they need me on the team. They do. You got all this to lose. Not only just the money, but the legacy.
No, if you're on the team, see, that would be bad because then the owners can't cut the payroll from these guys making dumb mistakes.
I mean, I guess, I can tell.